Welcome to The Explainer. This is where we sift through the day's headlines, break them down, and show you the bigger story that's hiding in plain sight.
So, take a look at this. On one hand, you've got some pretty worrying headlines. On the other, signs of real strength. It's a bit of a head-scratcher. So what's the real story here? Let's dive in, starting with the economic challenges that were making news.
All right, first up, let's look at the clues that are pointing towards some pretty serious economic headwinds for the country.
And the first one is a big one, a major red flag, really. In the second quarter of 2025, Canada's current account deficit, that's basically the scorecard for money coming into the country versus money going out, well, it shot up to a new record high. That's a serious pressure point for any economy.
So what's behind this? Well, it's not exactly a mystery. The main culprit is a big drop in exports to the United States, Canada's biggest trading partner, and it all stems from these ongoing trade frictions. That's a direct hit where it really hurts.
And look, this kind of pressure isn't just some abstract number on a chart, right? It has real-world consequences for real people. The spirits maker Diageo announced it's shutting down its iconic Crown Royal bottling plant in Amherstburg, Ontario. They're moving those operations over to Quebec.
Okay, so things are looking a bit shaky, but, and this is a big but, here's where the whole story gets really interesting and kind of contradictory. Because at the exact same time all these warning signs are flashing, other headlines were painting a completely different picture, one of strength and stability.
I mean, talk about a contrast, right? While you've got trade and manufacturing taking a hit, Canada's financial sector seems to be singing a totally different tune. Both TD Bank and CIBC came out with really strong third-quarter profits.
And this wasn't just a one-off, It actually capped off a strong earnings season for all of Canada's big six banks. It kind of suggests that the financial backbone of the economy is holding up remarkably well, even with all this uncertainty floating around.
All right, so we've got this mixed bag on the economy. Now let's shift gears and see if that theme of positive momentum pops up anywhere else, like on the diplomatic front.
And it does. In what looks like a really significant move to repair a strained relationship, both Canada and India took a major step forward. They appointed new high-level envoys, Christopher Cooter for Canada and Dinesh K. Patnaik for India. That's a crystal-clear signal that both sides want to get back on track and move past recent tensions.
Okay, so that's the high-level stuff. Economics, diplomacy. But how does all this translate to the lives of everyday people? Let's take a look at the view from the ground.
You can feel a sense of resolution in the air, almost literally in this case. After a strike back in August, Air Canada's flight attendants are now voting on a new deal to officially end their labor dispute. And yeah, that deal includes wage increases.
So what about consumer confidence? Are people feeling optimistic enough to spend? Well, if you look at the Canadian snowbirds planning their winter trips to Florida, the answer seems to be a big yes. They aren't just going, they're booking earlier and even paying more than last year, seemingly shrugging off any of those wider economic worries.
And then, sometimes the news cycle just throws you a curveball. Totally unrelated to all this high-level stuff, there was this bizarre little footnote to the day's news. A former NFL player who'd been a fugitive from Canada was finally tracked down and arrested. Just a strange human drama playing out in the background.
Okay, let's step back for a second. We've got all these different pieces: trade deficits, bank profits, factory closures, diplomatic thaws. When we put them all together, what picture do they paint? What does the pulse of Canada really look like?
What emerges is this real tale of two Canadas happening at the exact same time. On one side, you have a nation facing clear, serious economic strain. And right alongside it, you have another that's showing surprising strength, financially, diplomatically, and even personally.
Which leaves us with the big question, right? In this national tug-of-war between pressure and perseverance, which side is going to win out? Which one of these stories will end up defining Canada's next chapter? That's the story we'll be watching.